What's up, my people? This is part 2 or part 21 of the last video. I continue in my only topic here at the Mental Telepathies Arena / the homeless empire is the youth. And I am your host and lyrical genius, Black Titanium. As I was saying in my last video, because you know you have to shorten the videos according to their censorship. We have to learn how to give our youth the best education, man. And not just academic education in their world. I'm talking about education of knowledge of who they are. Because right now, there's a conspiracy against our youth, against us, to be targeted for extermination. And the biggest part of that war is mental warfare that's being driven into their minds. That's being played against them to the point where they're being played into killing each other, disrespecting their elders, disrespecting each other, turning to drugs, disease, famine. You got a lot of youth out here who play tag with herpes and all type of diseases because they looking for love in all the wrong places. Or they can't see it. They'll even see this video and say, man, what that nigga talking about? Man, I got new Jordans on, nigga. You crazy? I got $950 Balenciagas on, nigga. You crazy? Nigga, I'm wearing the flyest shit, nigga. You crazy? I'm out here hustling, nigga, selling dope, nigga. I'm doing my thing, nigga. That's what they say. But in their deep in their subconscious mind state, they are suffering. Because no matter what type of materialistic things they accumulate, or no matter how much money they accumulate, it can't erase self-hatred, man. Self-hate is a hell of a mental state. Real talk. Self-hate is a hell of a mental state. And when the people hate themselves, there's nothing there's no limit to the things that white people or any other culture can get you to do to yourself or get you to do to your people. This is why our youth are not respecting their elders, because they're being divided. They put pressure on the mother, and the mother, coupled with the fact that she's been making decisions with all the wrong men who've been doing her dirty. So by the time she's 30, 40 years old, she's bitter. And she's not only goes over to the white man, she's being driven over there by these crazy ass niggas who've also been taught by their mothers to disrespect women not through her mouth, but through her actions. Because when a little boy is growing up underneath a mother who wants to feminize him, who wants to drive him crazy, who wants him to submit to every woman in the house, from the sister to the aunt, and so she also, on the other side of the same token, she also teaches him that, these niggas ain't shit. Your father ain't shit. I'm the mother and father here. So the kid gets confused about who's really their enemies, especially when the person who's supposed to love them the most is tossing them to the wolves after they create a monster out of them and drag them through the mud. A lot of these children out here, you might think that these niggas are just like savages, but they just misunderstood, man. Like I said, the black man is naturally a genius. The black woman is naturally a genius. All we have to do is be given a stepping stone. All we need is not a lot of help, because as you can see with people like Jay-Z and all of them, who turned dust into empires. And that's what we have the ability to do. And to be successful in this country against 1,000,000,000 odds, that's like me playing you in a game of chess. And I know you don't know how to play, so I say, yo, you know what? You gotta, this is how you play. You gotta give me all your pawns, and you gotta put your pawns on my side of the board, and you gotta give me 2 of your rooks and both of your bishops and 1 of your knights. So now you stuck with a queen, a knight, and a king, and no pawns. So this is the game of life. The game of chess is the game of life. It's about the white man checkmating the black man. So now you're sitting there with a queen who you know you're gonna lose, because most black women are gonna leave you if you don't have no money. If they don't have no protection from you, if that side over there is able to convince you that they have broken down your barrier to be protected, she's gonna eventually leave. So now you're stuck with a knight and a king. You're the king. Your knight, which is your child, is gonna be destroyed. That's the objective, is to get your children. So even in situations like that, the game starts out against us. So when you see people like Jay-Z and Beyonce and all of them, and all these successful people, that's amazing to watch. But these are people who have turned dust into empires. Even though this nigga might have sold dope, he might have destruction on his hands. That's amazing to watch. A person who could slip through the cracks and do that. This is why when they get people like Jay-Z, they say, yo, can we interview you? They don't want to interview him because they love his talent, or they love her talent, or they love this person's talent, because they don't care if you know how to dance, sing, or any of that. But when you teach them that you can think and you're intelligent, they can see the genius more in you, more than the black man can see the genius in themselves, because most black men and black women are stuck in an identity crisis. Okay? So they interview him because they want him to give the blueprint. It's like, they say, yo, Jay-Z, we want to interview you. So what they doing, this is how white people do. They talk to each other in codes. They use the TV platform as their stage to publicly lynch black people. So they interview him so that he can give all his secrets out and tell you how he made it. So that when the next black person that comes and the next black people that come, they can slam that door in their face. This is why when you see people like 50 Cent in the hip hop industry, how he made it through the mixtapes, you've never seen nobody else be able to do that. Because he got interviewed and he told people his secrets and how he did it. And if you notice, nobody else has been able to do it through that avenue, because they shut that door in people's faces. They make sure they keep that door shut. They want to know how you did it so they can sabotage the next 100,000 black people that come along. This is what you got to understand. If you don't understand the game of white supremacy, you will never understand why you're being victimized, or how you're being victimized, when you're being victimized, or where you're being victimized. Serious. You have to understand your enemy. Like, you have to understand who's your enemy, especially when your enemy is out to kill you. When you see people like Amadou Diallo, Sarah Bland, Breonna Taylor, and you see all these people getting killed by the police unjustly, that's a pattern. That's what they call a pattern. If that does not wake you up and say, listen, man, we're in danger here. We have to do something about this. We have to fight back. We have no choice. Sometimes you have to become the lion that you don't want to be in order to be the sheep that you are. And I'm talking about us as a collective, because we have the finances and we have everything we need to go our own way and separate from these people. This is why other countries, this is why they go all over the world killing up the people, robbing their resources and colonizing their land. All because those people say, yo, listen, man, we don't want nothing to do with you, man. We just want to live here in peace and live our way. But do you think they want to hear that? They're always worried about their survival, and that's all over the world. People of color are their targets. So they go all over the world saying, yo, listen, we're going to give you this, and you're going to do this, and you're going to do that. And if the people say no, they target them for extermination too. Iran, Iraq, and whoever it is. So what you have to understand when your enemy is trying to kill you. Just because there's not a gun to your head, and just because you're making money and going to a job and they training you to be a slave, don't mean that they're not trying to kill you. Just like Malcolm X once said, just because you're paranoid don't mean nobody's out to get you. Real talk. And that's what we have to understand. We have to understand when our youth are in danger, when our lives are in danger. For real. If you go out there to the Minnesota and you see how they got the downtown area, they fenced off because of the George Floyd, because of the killers of George Floyd, those police is on trial. They know that they're gonna get acquitted because they built all type of blocks and roadblocks and blockades and steel, iron, titanium fences around the downtown area. So you know that they're gonna get acquitted. We know that they're gonna be acquitted because of the way that they acting and the way they build in downtown. They just tell them, man, yo, you know what? Wait a year or two, let it die down, and we'll let you out. They ain't even in jail. They just, they come back and forth to get bailed out. You know what I'm saying? So basically, my point is, you have to understand. We have to understand when we're in trouble, and we're not only in trouble. We're worse off than people in the '60s, people back in slavery, and just because you got fly clothes on don't mean you're not. Our people are being dumbed down. There's a conspiracy with hip hop music to kill our youth and everything. And these people are constantly coming up with laws and legislations and all type of stuff to subdue us and pacify you with money so that they can just kill you. Put the liberal undercover racists up under you so you'll stay blind. While the blatant white supremacists are plotting your demise, plotting your children's demise. This is why they interview successful people, so that when the next million people that try to come through that avenue, they shut the doors in their faces. They make sure they sabotage that. Because they don't want no 15-year-old, 16-year-old, 17-year-old boy coming in driving a Bugatti, spending $100,000 on chains. You think they like to see that? That nigga, that eats at their souls. They can't stand seeing that. Just like the NBA players, young NBA players and NFL players that's making a bunch of money, them white people be at the stadium. You ever went to one of those games? They be at the stadium so jealous of LeBron James and Anthony Davis and them niggas that they just start slandering them and telling lies on them and trying to demonize them niggas. Jay-Z, Beyonce, they demonize them niggas so that they can stay isolated from the people. You feel me? So that they can stay isolated from the people. And this is what they do. They constantly plotting your demise. And this is what we have to understand. You have to understand when your enemies are trying to kill you. And just because there's not a gun to your head, one of the most hardest wars to fight is the war where you cannot see your enemy. And this is what you have to understand. So you have to learn to think spiritually and geometrically. Because spiritually, they got people trying to put spells, all type of shit. They working sigil magic on children and all of that. But my point is, man, to the youth is going to take control. They're going to inherit everything that's coming in the very near future, and it's not going to be beautiful. So I'm talking to the youth. And with that being said, you have been in tune with another episode of Mental Telepathy's Arena, and I am your host and lyrical genius, Black Titanium. And remember one thing, if you can't remember two, Never fear the one who can lead you to the hellfire, but fear the one who can put you in it and leave you there. Peace. I'm out.